Boo! And the ghost. And I finally S-ranked every single boss in the DLC. And fighting every single boss in expert mode made me realize how incredible some of them are. Today, I shall rank every single boss, including the ones from the King's Leap. I'll be ranking them with this list. If a boss has theming music, fluid animations, references, and creativity overall. I think it's all pretty clear, so let's get ranking. The Queen is the weakest boss out of any boss. She has an attack that you have to parry, and then you avoid a lot of garbage on the screen. You have to parry these cannons to beat her, and that's the entire boss. It is as simple as a boss can get, which is not a good thing to say, especially when speaking of the last boss. Also, the music is just forgettable for me. Then follow the pawns. The pawns are beaten in a pretty simple way. You have to parry their heads and then avoid the ones that are headless. Sadly, there's this very infamous trick to defeat the boss in 20 seconds, so that takes all skill out the window. The music is still really good and fits the boss pretty well, but instead of that, the pawns are really easy and simple. There's nothing of a highlight of a normal moment. The rook is a simple idea, but with a good execution. that's a pun. It just doesn't have any standout moments. Same goes for the music. It's there and it exists. The rook is one of the most inoffensive bosses to exist. Now, the bishop is once again a good idea. Simple execution, you have to touch the candles to put them out, and then attack the bishop. It has good animations, a good background, but then again, it's a simple boss that gets the job done. I have to say something, is that I really enjoy the Mortimer freeze battle, but then, why is it so low on the list? My problem is that it doesn't have any standout moments. It's a simple battle that goes elevating as you would expect. First you fight Mortimer, then you fight an Iceman, and then you fight a Snowflake. Because of course. A Snowflake! The Snowflake contains power. It's kind of weird, but at the same time, it's a normal way to follow it up. It's a fun boss, I'll give it that. But when you see the rest of the bosses, Mortimer sadly gets stuck in last. But just because there are better bosses, I should give this fight less credit. What this battle does right, it's really well done. But the other ones expand upon, but it's still nice. Gets the DLC vibe right. Speaking of right, the music is brilliant. It's just so cool. Gnome the Giant is incredible. It has deep references, music that fits the vibe of the 30s, and creative attacks. Then, why is this boss so low on the list? Let's talk negatives, and then I'll keep talking about the positives. My biggest negative is that the boss peaks very early. Like, it peaks at phase 1. How can you follow up such a great phase 1? You simply can't. At least the battle doesn't just fall flat. It still has some good ideas, like the whole puppet show and the last phase. I like the idea you have to sort of like wake the platforms to keep standing on. But sadly, the boss just simply can't keep up with itself. If the entire battle was as good as the first phase, Gnome would have a chance at the number 1 spot. But as it is, Gnome the Giant goes as hard as a mountain. Oh yeah, since now, I'll finish every single boss with a joke, so now, get used to it. I think we all have questions regarding this boss. Who doesn't really? But as it is, Angel and Devil are a simple mini-boss. Who are actually scrapped face from the Devil. It doesn't really add much to the battle, but it's a fun simple factoid. I don't really have too much to say about this boss. It's one phase, it's a fun mechanic, and has solid attacks. But it really is just a fun secret boss that gets the job done as being a secret boss. The music really fits perfectly with the mood, but this fight is just heavenly. I really have to confess this, the night is being ramped up to this spot for the music. Not to discredit the actual fight, it was a great concept, something that has been seen way time for a demo, but the music is just so spectacular. What really made the night stands out is all the things that when combined form a great boss. If something missed, this wouldn't be the same boss. You have the fact that you have to stand close, the attacks are very different between each other, you have a difficult attack, that's fast and quick action, a more slower attack, easier to parry, and a sort of tackle attack you need to parry, as it happens to avoid damage. These 3 attacks sword between each other giving a good pacing to the battle. That's mostly it. The boss has a good amount of variety to feel like a challenge and keeps your attention awake. This boss didn't leave me with a long face. When the DLC came out, I saw everyone say that the Holding Aces were their favorite bosses. But to be fair, this boss is really good. It is this up on the list because of its secret face. The whole boss is consistent though, it isn't just the face. Its start and ending, there's not a single bad face at any point. It's strong start, simple middle, insane ending. And while the boss can sometimes feel a little simple, there's always something new chasing after you, which gives the whole battle a quick feeling. And the music helps convey each feeling. This battle doesn't break any new ground, but what it does, it's keeping a consistent rate throughout the battle. How to keep the player invested, and knows how to do multiple phases. Right. How did they did it? How did they make this such a good fight? Simple, they made it fun throughout. Maybe I'm overrating the Moonshine Ball because it's just recycling old ideas and bosses, but man are this idea fun. Let's go with each part individually. We have the giant spider, which can bring allies, bombs, and a caterpillar after you. After you beat the spider, you have to go with this sort of light attack with this dancing bug. With Miss Chalice personally, I'll always cheese it. It's a simple phase. When it gets big, you get this anteater carrying around the snail. The anteater is simply the hardest part of the battle, and after you beat it, you get surprised with a surprise knockout scene, which is planned out really smartly, in my opinion. So that's why I'm putting Moonshine Ball up on top 3. I don't know, I can't explain it, it's one of those things that I like. It has fun and nice gameplay, great music, deep references, and the animation is incredible. Moonshine Ball gets here because of its mix of fantastic elements, and it has the fake knockout scene. That alone should make it land here. The only bad thing about the fight is that it isn't bug free. I know everyone hates this boss on expert, I certainly do, but all the fight is enjoyable, hard and delightfully animated, all of it. There's not a single bad part of it. It's the perfect final boss. It's even better than the devil. Not a lot of things are better than Lucifer. Now, I'll argue this boss can go sometimes a bit too far, but I like the go too far. It gives the boss a sense of finality, where it's really the ultimate challenge to complete. I'm glad they didn't hold back and went all for it. I prefer Insane the Tough as Nails boss than a simple, easy for everyone boss. Give me the pain instead. As for the boss itself, we already have incredible animation, a more than fitting soundtrack, and creative attacks. Simple but creative. Most of the first phase and the second one, it's pretty simple, and third and fourth is just being able to avoid various elements. But as it is, I gotta compliment the chef personally on this one. Like, I think everyone knew, I know, you know, obviously, the freaking cow is the best boss on this DLC. There's no other way to say it. It's a masterpiece of a boss. Remember all I said in the beginning, this boss checks all of the marks. Both fun attacks, creativity, amazing and fitting soundtrack, references, what else can you ask for? It's a masterpiece within a masterpiece. This is how you make a unique, simple boss that's memorable throughout. Is there something negative? No, not a single thing. Everything is perfectly done, and you can tell the crew loved working on this. The music is emphatic, the animation goes beyond expectations, the little details like the wanted poster, the projectiles, and the best part is that all of it fits into creative attacks. Of course you will have a vacuum, of course saves fall down and break into projectiles. Oh, of course flying beans will attack you. How can we forget the flying beans? It's all over the top, you kinda have to accept it as you go playing. Oh, the cow is now dead and turned into hot dogs. Sure, let's keep battling. This fight is so good, I can't say anything else, because I really mentioned everything I have in my head. Oh wait, the background. The background is beautiful, there you go, now I mentioned it all. This fight amused me. And that's the end of this ranking. What's your favorite battle? Let me know, I want to see those Clubstone fans. Ah, and before you go, maybe you realize, I hadn't realized, someone told me on Discord, that I reached 100 subscribers. We'll do something, I'll tell you later, I have a small video planned, As always, this is the Gamer Ghost, and I say, screw you, S-ranking!